Hey guys, it's time to celebrate someone else's birthday. To be more specifically, Princess Peach herself. Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Mr. Daffy Duck here and I'm back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Mario Party for the Nintendo 64. So last weekend we have managed to have some bit of an interesting experience when it comes to DK's Jungle Adventure, and despite the fact I did manage to conquer it all when it comes to that particular board. And today for this episode, or especially notable for the majority of this weekend, we're about to be experiencing probably my second favorite board of the game, which appears to be Peach's birthday cake. As far as this board applies is the fact that we're about to be able to explore the majority of the actual birthday cake itself. And I think, just like in Mario's Rainbow Castle, there's only one particular star space, which appears to be on top of the actual cake, as you can see here. However though, unlike in usually Mario's Rainbow Castle, there wasn't any, dang it, I just got a slow dice block from the start, which is pretty too bad for my liking, but at least we're able to cope for it, so... Yeah, anyways, the fact that, the difference between this board than the likes of Mario's Rainbow Castle is the fact that if you manage to land on the happening space, well, at the moment right now, nothing happened at the moment. But it wasn't until whenever we reached to about 30 coins, that way we're able to actually get something that's very useful, which we'll discuss more about it when some players else are about to be getting themselves 30 coins. But for now, here we have another new minigame, and this time around we are playing Deep Sea Divers. So in this case, team up to help rise the treasure chests at the bottom of the ocean. Press A to swim and rotate the control stick to wheel in. So, however, luckily for me, I'm the only one who's going to be doing swimming. Whilst compared to Donkey Kong and Mario, Luigi I should say, that they're about to be doing the painful rotation the control stick kind of scenarios. However though, you know, it feels kind of similar to the likes of Treasure Divers from the 4-player minigames, except the only difference is the fact there's of course the 2 versus 2 fashion. So as a result, yeah, I did manage to double check on the checklist of the minigames that we have not played yet, and this is certainly another one of those minigames we have not played yet. So, of course the biggest treasure chest is always going to be at the very deep end of the actual ocean itself, so it's always going to be happening when it comes to likely, if you ever play this minigame loads of times, then you know, the big treasure chest is always going to be in the deepest, deep end, kind of ocean and stuff, so... Oh yeah, and also another thing too is the fact that this is another one of those minigames that are able to feature the biggest amount of time limits, such as for instance 90 seconds. Well, it's pretty obvious because of how the fact that this minigame plays out pretty similar to Treasure Divers, except the biggest difference is here that you know, 2 players can only swim, and then 2 players can able to do some sort of a fishing, so as a result, yeah, it feels very similar, but ultimately speaking, it's the fact that the actual main goal is pretty much the same though, except, well, the 2v2 action, so... And of course I forgot to actually just change the settings quickly on the pause menu, so in this case we'll save in every turn in case if my capture card is getting pretty much crashed, and also just keep the messaging speed a lot more faster, so that way we can able to, well, speed things up a little bit. Especially noticeable how the fact that, well, I noticed that some people seem to don't do that. Especially noticeable how the fact they just want to see the actual dialogue in during forms of text boxes or something like that. But usually that's how it goes basically. So, anyway, so let's see right here. So I think Mario's gonna get a Toad. However, there's the main gimmick, or the main mechanic of this board, and that was the fact that if you come across into this particular Goomba, as you can see right here, you have 4 different seed options. There is the blue seed, the red seed, the yellow seed, and of course the green seed. If you manage to choose one of those seeds, you get a 75% you get yourselves a Toad, and then 25% you get yourselves a Bowser. However though, you only get about well, 3 options that you can get yourselves Toad, and then one of them is Bowser. So, and of course, if you get a Bowser seed, well, it doesn't matter which ones you're going to be going through because it's all randomized and everything. Every time when, you know, if all 4 seeds has been used, and then basically they just managed to shuffle up a little bit when it comes to like having 3 Toad seeds as well as 1 Bowser seed in general. So yeah, keep that in mind though, is the fact that again it's all random sometimes whenever you're able to hopefully try to get a Toad seed if you manage to able to try to get yourselves a star. And of course, much like in the previous boards, is the fact that the total cost of the star, in this case the price of the star, is pretty much all 20 coins, as likely the same thing. So, and of course, as I mentioned this earlier, much like in Mario's Rainbow Castle, the star space does not move in any spaces, so it only stays in one place, which is of course on top of the actual, well, the birthday cake itself. So I thought it was worth mentioning, just to let you guys know what the actual main emphasis on this particular board looks like, but you know, you get the idea. Okay, quick error right there, because unfortunately my program just managed to crash on me, so as a result, luckily that my entire progress has been saved, so at least I can able to actually just, well, continue things on a little bit. So anyways, let's go ahead and select the yellow seed, and, oh yes, we got ourselves a Toad. And of course, if you get yourselves a Bowser seed, then you're gonna have to go onto the other side of the actual board, meaning about the fact that you might able to eventually come across into Bowser himself. And I believe if you manage to get yourselves about 20 coins to yourself, basically you get yourself some sort of like a Bowser birthday cake, which as a result, you will lose 20 coins in the process, so... And it looks like Luigi's gonna go for the blue seed, so let's see what he might get. Oh, talk of a devil. Talk of a devil, we have the Bowser seed, of course. So in this case, he has to go to this side right here. And then if you meet up with Bowser, as I said earlier, assuming if you have like... Oh, don't you dare warp on me. Oh, thank God. That was pretty close, especially noticeable if that goes to me, I will be pretty much damned and screwed over, so yeah, I really refuse to let that happen, so... Anyway, what was I gonna say for this point? Oh yeah, today's day's, according to the actual today's day it was the 15th of August today, in this case in 2020. So, obviously we're now in the halfway point in the actual August itself, even though despite the fact that we still ended up on day 15 as far as August is concerned. So yeah, as a result of that specific stuff, we are quite close towards that specific point. So I just want to classify that. So either way though, another thing I just want to explain about this, speaking of which, is the fact that recently that Sonic has recently finished up with his Let's Play of Sonic Advance. So as a result, that he now managed able to finish that, one of the first Sonic Advance games in the entire channel. All he needs next to do, or in this case, the next Let's Play we might do for the sake of the future time for 2020, now is of course Sonic Advance 2, which I think we should probably save that up until by the end of the year, or in this case, if I like to call it, the end of the worst year that we've ever experienced, which again, we'll let some toys we're able to mention about that specific stuff, specifically whenever they do, well, someone else can do the final Let's Play of the whole entire year, but then again, though, we'll have to wait and see what happens until the actual time just, well, goes and flies by. So either way, as far as the actual mini-games that we have not showcased yet, I think we've only got about 6 mini-games left in the actual full-player mini-games, and also we've got ourselves 1 mini-game left to showcase in 1 versus 3 mini-games, and also 1 left in terms of 2 versus 2, even though despite the fact that this game doesn't have that much in terms of 2 versus 2 mini-games, because I think there are about 5 of them in total for 2 versus 2 mini-games, which... Sure, it might seems obvious because this is the start of the entire Mario Party series, in this case one of my favorite franchises next to Mario Kart series, as well as some Mario Sports titles and all the other jazz. So as a result, that might be some consumption, so either way, we're gonna have to leave it to that. So anyways, let's get ourselves our first star, and I think it's in turn 4 if I can recall. Out of all the actual boards that we might come across into, to me though, Peach's birthday cake, birthday cake, as far as I like to say, this can go down pretty quickly, because as a result, there aren't many, dragged out events or something like that for that particular standpoint. Although despite the fact that, as you can tell, that this is still on the PAL system, as you can tell, this meaning about the fact that the actual, the speed of the game might run a little bit slightly slower in comparison to 60Hz mode that you only get in the American version of the game. So, what do you know? That actually walks me back to the quickest part to able to go all the way round. Okay, thank you Woodblock for able to actually make me have a little bit of an easier experience. Or in this case, the actual... I don't know how do I usually try to pronounce that very well, but anyway. Well, looks like DK is gonna able to actually get his coins taken, so too bad for him. So, a few things I want to explain about this also is the fact that I'm pretty sure that Sonic and Piglet has not even mentioned about this since Journey Forms have been, I would say in August the 6th or something. Basically because of this though, recently during on that day, the 6th of August on Thursday, recently PlayStation has been announced there is a State of Play, which I don't know how long it has been for since, the last, State of Play presentations or something. I think the last time I remember watching those kinds of stuff, it was actually at the very beginning of the year, which as a result, because it actually contains Kingdom Hearts Reminded DLC info, and I think that's as far as I can usually think about it, but even then, no, that was the last time I've actually seen the State of Play presentations when it comes to PlayStation and stuff. So as a result, the only thing they actually did manage to get the info on is the fact that, actually I'll talk more about it until later, because for now, looks like DK is about to be doing a limbo dance, as you can see here. And, talking of which, when it comes to the State of Play recently, is the fact that, of course, unfortunately they didn't, bring us, anything big in terms of PlayStation 5 announcements, but rather, they just managed to get ourselves some of these, releases when it comes to the PlayStation 4, PlayStation VR games, and especially noticeable with the third-party support with PlayStation 5, which... Oh! So close for DK! He was so close to able to make it to the finish line. And of course, if you can tell right there, the actual course layout with the limbo dance is actually a lot different, because as you can tell, I think this goes off for a little bit too long compared to the forms of how it does it on the first time, or in this case, the short length, as far as I'm aware. So, yeah, it's one I pointed out. Tipsy Tourney. So we've played this before, so even then, we were expecting to hopefully to get ourselves, you know, even more mini games, even for new ones, as far as I'm aware. That, you know, the ones we have not played yet, so... But then again, though, as I said before, that luckily for me, I've got the checklist ready, so that way we can able to see certain minigames that we have not played yet. Of course, good thing about the forms of Mario Party 1 compared to the future games in the series are basically that we might able to eventually get ourselves all of the minigames during time, and same applies to Mario Party Star Rush for slightly of a small extent, probably because of how the fact that, you know, in terms of boss battles in, you know, Mario Party Star Rush, is that I swear to God, I've never actually come across into that, the second Bowser battle, where you have to go for that particular, circular arena, and you have to able to hit these blocks every time, whenever you're trying to shock him for, you know, the certain amount of points you can get, which I know most people always seem to come across as that particular random problem, which either way, doesn't look too, well, I don't know how do I usually explain about this for the sake of time, but hey. Alright, so let's get the yellow seed selected, and unfortunately, since I don't have enough coins to get the next star, and also because I actually got the higher roll, well, not only because of how the fact that I've managed to land on the mushroom space, but also just managed to get myself 10 if I manage to get my another go, but hey, at least... On the other hand though, I'm still more likely trying to aim for the minigame star as well as the coin star at the same time, so that makes it a little bit obvious for that solution, so... Okay, so Mario's gonna be doing the ground pound mini game, as you can tell. So obviously that's no matter what though, unlike myself, in this case the player 1 or player 2 or player 3 or player 4, in this case human players, basically they can able to do this minigame no problem. However though, with certain CPUs, mainly with Mario for example, that still he was on normal mode, basically that sometimes he just like ground pound the flat ones, and then all of a sudden he just always get distracted by that particular pithy pointy parts, which I have no idea why computer players attempt to do that most of the time. Especially noticeable, they always become like idiots whenever they're expected able to actually just to see if how everything's safe or not. But on the upside though is the fact that in terms of CPUs for this minigame, they always attempt to able to finish this minigame for about 2 seconds flat, or in this case 2 seconds to spare, which I have no idea why they attempt to do that, mind you, but still it's a little bit weird. But I digress. But then again, I'll discuss more about the forms of state of play announcements until later on throughout the forms of, I would say on Sunday, just because, differently from the likes of the previous counterparts of this Let's Play, along with any other Mario Party Let's Plays in the past, basically that's it's going to be 2 parts per video, or in this case, to be more specifically, you know, just 2 parts this time as opposed to too many lengthy parts. Back in the past that is. Specifically, that if you remember back in 2011, despite the fact that that particular Let's Play is no longer there anymore, basically that we did manage to upload for about, let's just say for example, in the first board in Mario Party, in this case Mario's Rainbow Castle, that we always attempt to choose, mind you, what happens is the fact that the actual parts, or the amount of parts we should say, we actually got about 7 parts, and each part actually contains about 10 minutes per video, which I was just like, that doesn't look quite right to me though. Well, at least despite the fact that back in the day, that we didn't get ourselves the actual YouTube partner system, so as a result it wasn't until likely years and beyond, that way I can able to actually just get ourselves a much more better experience when it comes to YouTube partner system, which as a result that makes it a little bit obvious for that specific matter. So yeah, you probably get the idea for that part. So, especially noticeable how the fact that, well, despite, you know, Mario Party Island Tour, that, usually, relatively speaking, that we actually still need to divide them into parts in certain boards. But apart from those aside things, though, I don't mind about it too much, so... Oh yeah, speaking of which actually, it's the fact that recently, during the forms of in the past few days ago, recently, what DK might get? A Koopa. So if you manage to get the Koopa from the hidden block, basically he'll give you 20 coins, which is pretty cool considering. Whilst unlike the ones in the actual board, basically you get 10 coins. So there's not much else to it, but at least that's something, so... Alright, let's see what's the next minigame. Of course, we're going for Coin Block Bash again, so as a result, we might still come across into the exact same minigames as in multiple times at this rate, so there's not much else to it. Anyway, oh yeah, I do apologize for that background noise you're going to be hearing in the background, just because, well, we'll discuss more about it whenever we're able to, likely, until eventually, if the next unboxing video is going to be up and during at some point by the end of the year, or maybe just a little bit later, just because, well, at this point in time, is that this year has gone pretty terrible, as I said earlier. And also, to make matters worse, is the fact that, you know with the Super Nintendo World, amusement park, in addition to the forms of the Epic Universe in, Florida, like, to be more specifically, I don't know which country that's going to be represented with. Basically, I think Mario might be able to get that last coin, or even... Did Luigi got that last coin? Huh. I have no idea how just happened right there, but at least on the other hand, yeah, I think he got the most coins out of all 3 of us, or 4 of us, I should say, so... Oh well. Anyway, what was I trying to say? Oh yeah, unfortunately for not only the Super Nintendo World, but also the Epic Universe in the actual Universal Studios in Florida. Unfortunately though, those amusement parks has been delayed, probably because of how the fact that there's gonna be like, I don't know. Oh yeah, because of the stupid pandemic stuff, which as a result, I have no idea why I'm trying to keep on saying for this point right now, because we're getting sick of the forms of pandemic stuff right now, apart from, you know, keep on delaying things, which as a result, it just really upsets me. But apart from those side of things though, there's actually a good news I can discuss, and that was the fact that recently I've managed to pick up my new game recently, which is by the forms of a physical copy cartridge version of Super Mario Bros. Deluxe for the Game Boy Color. Which, the reason why I've got that is because not only for the sake of my collection, but also, hopefully, if Nintendo were able to announce the actual remasters of certain 3D Mario games when it comes to celebrating the 35th anniversary of the Super Mario Bros. Franchise, which I'm really hoping I will doubt it, because of how the fact that, well, it's been a while since we actually heard about this. Specifically, since on March this year, just right before, you know, the tragedy occurred. Well, to be more specifically with what's going on around the world. Specifically the lockdown, the pandemic, and stuff like that, which either way though, that just... Again, we'll discuss more about the actual final thoughts of the whole entire year whenever we get on to the final day of the year, to be more specifically, New Year's Eve in 2021. But still, we'll have to wait and see what happens until that time comes. But anyway, oh, I wonder what I might get. Oh, I got a Koopa as well. Thankfully, I didn't get the, well, the Bowser, or even especially noticeable, somehow we didn't get the Boo on that hidden block. Although, relatively speaking with that particular Boo, this is the only board out of all 8 boards of this game does not contain a Boo unless if you have yourselves a hidden block activated. So as a result, that you might able to get rare chances that you might able to come across into a Boo due to the hidden block, or not, you might able to get someone else, like, you know, Bowser or Koopa Troopa to be exact. Oh, that's a double youch for Luigi when it comes to, like, you know, not only land on the red space, but also subtract coins at the same time due to that minus dice block that he had. So, that's a bit of an unfortunate statement for Luigi as far as I'm aware, so... Yeah, you get the drill. So in this case, was DK might as well able to purchase this? Oh yeah, if you somehow manage to reach for about 30 coins, if you manage to able to land on a happening space, you're able to activate the actual Piranha Plant trap. And basically what that does is the fact that if someone else managed to land on that specific spot, then you somehow manage to activate that trap, you will steal a star from somebody. So as a result, yeah, you have to be very careful with that. Especially noticeable if you get the higher star count, well, just have to watch out for it. So, break into teams for a ski race in a desert. Press the control stick in the same direction at the same time. And of course, as you can see on screen, we are playing Desert Dash. In this case, this minigame will make its return in Mario Party, the Top 100. Which I'm very glad that was the case though, because I actually don't mind this minigame at all. And I think, relatively speaking, is the fact that we actually pretty much done where it comes to likely showing you guys every single 2 versus 2 minigames. So yeah, that's pretty interesting to say the least. Especially noticeable how the fact that I said this before, this game only features 5 2 versus 2 minigames, which it's not been seems a lot, but it wasn't until in 2000, well, to be more specifically, Mario Party 2, basically they'll expand a lot of minigames in terms of 2 versus 2 variety. So as a result, hopefully whenever we get on to Mario Party 2 at some point later on at the end of the year, then we should probably able to actually have some fun and excitement. So yeah, that's far from the case, regrettably. And thankfully I did not land on the DK's, you know, Piranha Plant trap, as you can see, and then as a result, I can able to land on the new happening space spot, so that way I can able to actually activate, you know, the Piranha Plant trap, assuming if someone else managed to get the star. If you don't get the star, and if you land on that particular space, and like for example, if you land on, well, to be more specifically, the Piranha Plant trap on Donkey Kong, basically that if you don't have a star, then nothing will happen. So if you do get a star, on the other hand, if you somehow accidentally land on that specific spot, then you will lose a star and give it to someone else. So I'm guessing it's like a Boo replacement kind of stuff for this board. But again, the only way you can able to see Boo in this board is the fact that if you have the hidden block activated on the actual mushroom bank. So yeah, that's the only way you can able to actually get the Boo in this board. But as far as physical wise, this is the only board out of all 8 main boards of the game. Basically, it does not contain a Boo at all, so there's no way you can just steal coins or even steal a star, although you will steal stars, well, due to the forms of that Piranha Plant, as you can tell from that happening space events. So, I think this is one of the easiest boards to able to actually just to get yourselves a happening star, just because if someone keeps landing on happening spaces, will be pretty much heavenly for the sake of this board. Basically, they will able to get a good chance to able to actually get themselves the happening star by the end of the actual board itself. So, that makes it pretty obvious for that specific, standpoint's worth noting for, but that's just how it goes basically. So either way, let's just go ahead and play Mushroom Mix-Up right here. So as a result, hopefully we should able to actually win this no matter what it would be. So I guess that makes it pretty obvious for that specific solution. So, what the heck? Why is Mario slipping off? Oh my god, that is something else. Oh my god, that is so something else. In addition to able to let Donkey Kong fell off the water, and also Luigi did manage to fell off the water as well, Mario for some reason he just, well, assuming he managed to ground pound super safely, but for whatever reason it just moves a little bit, which, it's so weird. Anyway, so let's go and move on to the next turn, and as you can see, Mario got himself an, well, only 1 coin to be exact, so never mind about him, but at least he can able to save up for some coins. Most notably, he wants the star so badly, so I guess that makes it pretty much obvious for that specific little answer to that particular stuff. And Luigi gets a 1 as well, but except he actually got himself another coin, so due to that particular plus dice block, as you can tell. Alright, another 1 versus 3 minigame, still no new minigame yet. Well, the only minigame we have not played completely yet is of course Tug of War, which, by the way, is the most infamous minigame of the whole entire, you know, not only for the entire game, but also the entire franchise as well, along with any other, you know, minigames in the future Mario Party games, which, believe me, we'll get to those one day, so don't worry. So anyways, I suppose that's pretty much as far as I can say for this point, guys. Apart from, as I said earlier, I will discuss about the forms of the PlayStation State of Play presentations until later on for the sake of the entirety of this board. But for now, looks like DK managed to get an exact position of himself, so strangely enough, it doesn't seem to go after certain other, well, players, as far as I can usually remember it, but either way, it has been such a very long time since I actually did manage to play this game, because I'm still used to playing the future Mario Party games compared to this one, just because of, you know, pretty much as to be expected because of how the fact that with the actual archaic, you know, losing all your coins if you manage to lose the minigame kind of syndrome or something. So, maybe I might be biased, but hey, at least that's something I can usually describe about it. And looks like Mario gets himself his first star, so in this case, he will eventually most able to achieve that, so who knows to him. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait, he might able to get the mushroom space, assuming if he does not land on the chance time space, which, if he does, then I'll have to able to actually just to close my eyes for a bit, and then hopefully I would able to predict the future for able to realize that I would be able to be safe. Speaking of the actual Peach's birthday cake, as far as the actual board itself, I really love the actual, talk of a devil with the forms of chance time spaces, god dang it! I'm hoping I won't get involved, and as you can tell, I'm playing as Yoshi for this board, despite the fact that I was originally trying to be playing as Princess Peach for the sake of this board, but on the other hand though, I'm probably not going to do that. Well, apart from the fact that I'm more able to actually save that up until whenever we get on to Minigame Stadium or something. Oh, ouch! too bad for Mario after what he's been through. So, in this case, goodbye to your star Mario and give it to Luigi instead, due to trading stars. That can be pretty brutal if you ask me, even if you're trying to play this with your friends or something like that. If you manage to come across into a trade star option, oh man, they will be furious if that will happen. If someone's in the lead at the time, I'm pretty sure Luigi doesn't land on my Piranha Plant space. Nah, it doesn't seem like it, so... Pretty close though, so close for that part, but at least on the other hand, it looks like DK might able to either get a Bowser or a Toad, but we'll see what happens until when he predicts that. So in this case, the red seed will go in, and I think fundamentally speaking, I might as well get Bowser. Well, assuming if someone else might able to actually approach to that particular blue seed, well, the only goal I need to get to is the fact that I need to get a lower numbers, which that might be seems the case because I really refuse to lose some of my coins for the time. So, anyways, let's see what's the next minigame. Mario Bandstand, another new minigame that we have not played yet, for the sake of the forms of the entire Let's Play so far, which is pretty cool if you ask me. So anyway, be a part of the bandstand, conduct with control stick, and play instruments with A, keep time to carry the tune. So it looks like Donkey Kong is gonna go for a conducting, and then the other three can deal with, of course, the instruments. There's also the equivalent of this minigame, which it wasn't until when we get into Mario Party 2 that I'm sure enough Sylvester will able to discuss more about it once we get on to, let's just say, on November. So in this case, looks like Mario Luigi's doing pretty bad at the time. Although on the other hand, me and DK is actually doing pretty swell, as far as I can usually think about it. So anyways, let's see if we can able to time our notes, and sure enough, me and DK managed to win this, because, well, if you somehow messed up any of those notes, timing-wise, basically you will able to actually don't get any rewards. Specifically, you get thrown by, well, the items get thrown at you, so yeah, you just have to be accurate with the timing and stuff like that, but honestly, that minigame wasn't too bad in my opinion. It's just felt fun overall.